Hello, welcome everyone to GB Cove. This is the first news article that I will be elaborating on, and this will be under the environment or sustainability topic lah. So, sustainability and environment topic is a very important topic that you must be aware of. So, must know what is going on. So, I'm gonna just use this article right as an example and as an illustration to you on how will I use this article right to further supplement what I have known and also to bridge the gap that I do not have in terms of the sustainability, in the area of power generation. So let's assume that you know nothing in order to get the essence of the article. So without further ado, let's begin. So you can see right, this is actually a so-called feature article lah. So it is actually based on a energy production project that is based in Australia. So Australia, as we know, is a continent by itself. So land size, land constraint is not an issue for Australia. But to Singapore, we actually face less scarcity since independence. So one of the key problems that we have is less scarcity. So with less scarcity, we cannot afford to waste every piece of land, and we can't afford to really build solar farms. So the alternative right is to actually buy renewable energy from overseas. So in this case, it will be Australia. So you can see right, this is the underground sea cable. So it transmits power from Australia, from the source of origin all the way to the source of the consumer, which is Singapore. So you can see there are a few numbers, and also the article is not that long. So let us just go through the article quickly and some areas of further research that you can actually read more on. It may not be necessary for you to really understand fully the topic, but just to be aware that this thing actually exists. So if you at any point of time you would want to use the information, right, at least you have some idea. You can write something, not say too specific, but something that is broad, something that is general, sufficient for you to use as an example. So you can see right, there are some statistics here. 15% of Singapore energy requirement via 4,200 km undersea cable from northern Australia start construction 2024. All these not that important. The idea is actually just to know that Singapore now is trying to import electricity, clean or renewable energy from overseas. So this is the main idea you want to have. Okay, then all these are just further elaboration. Okay, so this is the amount, 20.7 billion. So it is significant, and the name Australia Asia PowerLink. So it's an investment. Okay, it's an investment. Okay, the company behind this investment project is actually Sun Cable. So if you do not know what is Sun Cable, like I am while reading through the article right now, one thing you can do is actually to Google. You Google, find out what is who is Sun Cable, their track record, all these things. So it's important to have a name in mind when you use an example, because you just do not want to be very vague and let's say this company do what. You want to have the name, the value of the investment, all this, because with all this right, you can actually add value, add credibility to the example. So you don't need to really say, like for the value of the investment 20.7, don't need to remember 20.7. Remember, it's $1 billion project. or tens of billions of projects is sufficient enough really. You do not need to really go in depth to the decimal, So all these really actually help you to save a lot of time lah, and don't need to feel so stressed, thinking about what to memorize. So this is the code. So you can actually just take the entire thing out. Can really just, you want to memorize also can lah, but for me I just remember the main idea. Then this is some explanation, more quotes by him. Okay, this is the important part. This is the backdrop lah, the backdrop of the article. So actually it comes as Singapore looks to expand its renewable energy option and move to import energy as a solution to lowering its carbon emission footprint. So this is one statistic. 95% of our power generation comes from natural gas. So natural gas is also not a renewable energy, but it's definitely a cleaner source than coal or oil. So some more statistic, 100 megawatts. And okay, development of a wider ASEAN power grid. ASEAN power grid. What is ASEAN power grid? I also have no idea. So this is something that you should research on. And then it comes to the section that tells you what is Singapore constraint. Definitely land constraint is number one, and geography. So all this is all the sort of the notable people that you can actually quote for your exam. If you want to remember the person surname and where he worked at, or who is he representing. All this is sufficient. You don't need to write senior principal fellow. You just write an expert at the energy study institution of the National University of Singapore to suffice really. The so-called the job title, all this you can remove. So this is what he say lah. And then more and more explanation. So then we bring to another person. All these actually you can actually just summarize. Don't need to memorize word for word. So this is a very good illustration. So you can see actually the power generation is in Australia, and then there's a factory in Darwin, and then they will transmit the power all the way across Indonesia, all the way to Singapore lah. So from here we connect to the main grid, and then this can supply energy to Singapore. So this is a big idea lah, the big picture that you must understand. Okay, so hurdle, right? Hurdle would be more on the so-called governmental side, because from the article itself, actually that as of the writing of the article lah, but for now I'm not that sure. But as of the writing of the article, they say that the company hasn't reached an agreement with Singapore Authority, which is the EMA, the Energy Market Authority. So actually they have to work with EMA to get an so-called import license so that everything will be played by the books, and then all the regulation are all at tier 2. So and also from the picture you can see actually the operation cut across one country called Indonesia. So Indonesia must also approve because the cable also cut across Indonesia as well. You see, logistic of laying and maintaining the cable in Indonesian water. So from this picture, you can see this project, on the surface actually two countries, Singapore and Australia, but there is one country that also can interfere or influence the project success, whether the project can actually be progressed smoothly, or the project or the entire project is scrapped. It actually depends on Indonesia. So Indonesia is actually a key player lah for this project. So if Indonesia, let's say, they don't agree to lay the pipe in Indonesian water, then the cable will have to detour lah. So the cable have to go to international water and then take a big route to Singapore lor. So will that affect the so-called the viability of the project? Definitely it will. So will the project continue even that the cable need to be detoured? So this is something that you need to think about lah. So this is something to recognize, something to take note of. So come to the end, right? Okay, it's backed by Australia, two wealthiest men. Okay, all these people. Okay, then there also be competition to Sun Cable lah. Okay, Sun Cable is not the only company. You have also Sunseap lah. Okay, so all these players, will help to shape the industry. And then this person say that the Singapore seas and reservoir are underutilized for solar system, but have the potential to generate more solar power as compared to traditional rooftop and ground-mounted solar system. Definitely, this is true lah, because this is talking about surface area. Rooftop, ground-mounted solar system, all these have limited so-called applicability and suitability in Singapore lah. But when you're talking about reservoir, talking about sea, Singapore Sea lah, Singapore Sea that's within Singapore control, all these actually open up a lot of the surface area that we can play around with lah. So this is something that you need to take note of. So in this very short article, right, I have already explained to you, right, some of the main ideas on how to actually understand the article, how to actually use the information of the article, and what to memorize and what just to remember in a broader sense. So after reading through the article, right, there are actually two areas that I would like to research on. So the first one would be Sun Cable. Who is Sun Cable? What is his track record? So just to give you an understanding of how I will do when I read an article that have some companies or some interesting things that I want to research on. So the second one would be the ASEAN Power Grid. So these are the two areas that I will continue from this article. So let's go to the Sun Cable. So let's go to the Sun Cable. Let's go back. Okay. So this is the website of Sun Cable. So actually you can see, right, it says that the company is developing the world's largest solar power infrastructure network, making it possible to power whole cities with renewable energy. Okay. So still doesn't provide a lot of information. Okay, you can see that energy projects will position Australia, Singapore, and other ASEAN markets. Okay, so this gives some context, some geographic context. Okay, this is a video. Okay, just now the project, right, is actually Australia Asia PowerLink, AA PowerLink. So this is the name of the project. So this one, if you want to use this project, right, you must remember the name lah. If not, what's the purpose of remembering this project? Okay, so 15%. If you want to remember, so be it. But for me, I would say 10% would suffice. I don't need to remember 15 so exact. Okay, all this infographics really shown in the CNA article just now. So these are just more explanation. So as you can see, this is a very interactive site. So you can see these are more statistic. Not sure whether I can press this. Press. Never mind. So you can read more from this website. Very interesting company. Very interesting project. maybe you can see some of the company. Okay, so this is the David Giffen. So you can actually see the face of the founder or CEO of the company. So if you want to actually so you can actually if you want to keep update on this project, right, make sure you bookmark this company website. So every few months you can come and see what's the new development for this company lah. So a lot of article lah. All this I'll just leave it up to you to go and read on it. So the idea is not actually to really feed you with the content by itself lah, but actually to teach you how to use the article, how to you gain better use, gain more use from the article. So this one is the Sun cable. The second would be the ASEAN power grid. So again, a lot of things for you to read. So you can actually come and just take a look lah. Take a look. There are also webinar you can also watch. So all these, right, all these I will just leave it up to you to go and read it. Okay, so very important that you keep abreast of the trends, and also if you want statistics, you can actually come to this tab publication. You can actually have the so-called the 7 ASEAN Energy Outlook from 2020 to 2050. So definitely a lot of information, a lot of things that you can read to understand. So again, this will conclude the first article that I'm going to share for the environment and sustainability topic. So again, I've really teach you and show to you what are the key things that you can actually learn from the article itself. Reading the article itself is one thing, but to really understand and make full use of an article, right, it's something that not everybody can master. So what I'm going to advise you to do is actually next time when you pick up a news article, right, try to read with a heart to understand, and also to try to clarify those things that you have doubt in. So the company names, the project, all these things, areas that you're not clear, just Google is your best friend. You know, all these things can be Googled for free, and you can learn so much from just one article itself. And by learning meaningfully, you can actually remember it better, because you are not doing route learning. Okay, so in this channel I do not advise route learning with a heart to understand, learning not just to memorize. Okay, memorize the important part, but those that do not need to be memorized, just put at the back of your brain to have a background picture. So all these form background picture. Important part you memorize, not so important part you put at the background. So with this, right, I will just conclude the end of this first news article video. Stay tuned to this channel. I will keep on updating you with a lot of news article, things that is actually important for you, and things that you might actually miss out lah. So if you like this series, do give a thumbs up and also leave a comment down below lah, of any suggestion or feedback that you might have, so that I can maybe incorporate it in my next video. So I will see you in my next video. Take care, bye bye.